All right, in this video, we're going to be going over how to use the law of sines to solve non-right triangles. In class today, you guys went through the derivation of the law of sines using SOHCAHTOA by making two right triangles inside of a non-right triangle. So you went through that process, you developed the formula for law of sines. So now let's practice using the law of sines. It is super important to make sure that when you are deciding if you can use the law of sines, you must make sure that you have a side angle pair given. Meaning, if you are given angle A and that's what you want to use, you must know side A. If you know angle B, you must know side B. If you know angle C, you must know side C. You have to have one of these parts of your fraction completely filled in. So if you're going to use sine of A to find B, then you must know the side length of A. You have to have a pair. If you're still lost on that, I have 3 examples here that I'm going to be doing with you. Additionally, you have on your foldable, you now have a title for law of sines. I would suggest that you definitely write this down there and maybe an example or 2. So whatever you can fit in the box for law of sines, that's your choice, whatever you want to put there. So let's do this first example. I suggest that you have a calculator out that you guys can be practicing with plugging into. So that way you are not surprised with, oh my gosh, on the test, now I don't know how to use my calculator. So you definitely want to be practicing using your calculator. So I'm going to solve this triangle. And don't forget solving. We are going to not only identify the pieces that we are given, we're going to identify the pieces that we still need to find. I like doing that because it helps me keep things organized so I know what I have found and what I still have left to find. So I have my angle A, angle B, and angle C. And then I have side A, side B, and side C. So let's fill in what we know. We know angle A is 43 degrees. We know angle C is 88 degrees. And since the 12 is opposite angle C, we know side C. Well, there's my pair. I have angle C and side C. You could even see it here when you write it down. You have your side angle pair. That's what you must start with for law of sines. I can also find angle B. So let's go ahead and find angle B first. To find angle B, I'm going to do 180 minus 43 minus 88. And I'm just using my calculator for that, nothing fancy. So I have, not using my highlighter, I have 49 degrees for angle B. Whoops, I accidentally erased part of my triangle. Put that back. Okay. So now I need to find side A and side B. So the pair of my angle and side that I'm given, that's what I'm going to start my law of sines with. So the sine of 88 degrees divided by its side, which is 12. Now we need to decide what side do we want to find first. It doesn't matter because you're given both of those angles. Because A comes before B, I'm going to go ahead and find side A first. So I'm going to use sine of A, which is the 43 degrees, over little a. So I'm going to cross multiply. So I have A times the sine of 88 equals 12 times the sine of 43. And you always want to put your product in the front, whatever you are multiplying by. Now I want to get A by itself. To get A by itself, it's A times the sine of 88. So the inverse is to divide by the sine of 88. So now I can plug into my calculator. In my calculator, I'm going to do and don't forget to check your mode, 12 sine of 43 and then I'm going to divide by the sine of 88. So side A is 8.19. So now I have A, and I'm going to go up here and write that down, 8.19. Now I need to find side B. So I'm going to do another set of work. I want to keep my work organized. I'm going to still use the pair that I started with, the sine of 88 over 12. Now I'm looking for side B, so I have to use angle B. Angle B was 49 degrees. I'm going to go through the cross multiplication again. I'm going to leave out some of the work. I'm not going to show some of that mental math. If you remember when we did SOHCAHTOA, I can multiply by the 12 here, and then the sine and the B are going to switch. So B is going to equal 12 times the sine of 49 divided by the sine of 88. So now I'm going to use my calculator again. 12 times the sine of 49 divided by the sine of 88. And I get 9.06. So I have solved this triangle. On your test, you will be asked to find the perimeter. You can practice that by adding all three sides. The area will come later. We're going to do that in about a week and a half. It'll be easier because we don't have a horizontal base and a vertical height. So there is a method coming that will make your life a lot easier finding the area of non-right triangles or triangles that you can count, the base and the height. So that's example 1. Let's move on to example 2. We're almost done. I only have 2 more examples to go. So I'm going to write down my angle A, which I don't know. Angle B, I don't know. Angle C is 121 degrees. Side A is 8. Side B, I don't know. Side C is 17. Well, there's my pair. The C's are together. I have the angle and I have the side. So let's see, what can we do now? Well, we're given side A. Since that's the piece we're given, we need to find the angle that goes with it. So let's go ahead and find angle A. And really, that's your only option. So I'm going to have the sine of 121 over its side, which is 17. Now I'm looking for angle A. So the capital A is your variable, and I know its side, which is 8. So the first thing I'm going to do is multiply both sides by 8 to get rid of my fraction. So right now I have 8 times the sine of 121 over 17 equals the sine of A. Now I'm going to do this fraction here in my calculator, and I'm going to get a decimal, but I don't want you to clear it. So 8 times the sine of 121 divided by 17. And I have 0.40337 on and on and on. So double check that that's what you have, but leave it in your calculator. Now I need to find an angle. And we went over this with the right triangle trigonometry. I don't want this sign here, so I need to undo sine. To undo sine, you have to take the inverse of sine. So it's like, oh, I'm going to take the sine inverse. I'm putting the sine on the wrong side. And here I'm going to take the sine inverse. Well, here the sines undo each other, and angle A is the sine inverse of 0.40337. So I have this decimal in my calculator. So it's second sine, and then use the answer button, please. And you have 23.79 degrees for angle A. So I'm going to come up here and I'm going to write that 23.79 degrees. Well, now I have two angle measures. So I can take 180 and I'm going to subtract 121 and I'm going to subtract 23.79. And I am left with 35.21 degrees. Feel free to pause. I am not going super slow through this, but you're welcome to pause, rewind, start it over, go through it a lot slower, stop it once in a while, whatever you need to do. And we are going to be spending more time on this in class tomorrow. So now I have to find side B. So again, you use your anchor pair, the C's, since that's the pair you're given. So it's the sine of 121 over 17. Now you're finding side B. So I have to use the angle that I just found, 3521 over B. Cross multiply, the 17 comes over here. The B and the sine of 121 are going to switch. So B is 17 times the sine of 35.21 over the sine of 121. And then it's just using your calculator. 17 sine 35.21 divided by the sine of 121. And I get, for the length of B, 11.43. Definitely take the time to be practicing using your calculator right now, please. I will not have any sympathy for you on our test or a homework quiz if you're getting these wrong, even though you're getting to this point, but then you can't plug into your calculator correctly. That is a problem. So you definitely want to be practicing that. And if you keep getting them wrong, then that's a huge sign that you need to come in and get some help. Please come in and get some help if you're struggling. All right, last example. This one's a little tricky, just a little bit. I know angle A is 49. I don't know angle B. I know angle C is 51. Side A, don't know. Side B is 19. Side C, I don't know. Oh my goodness, I do not see a pair here. I have an angle, no side. No angle with a side. And then I have an angle with no side. So how am I going to get a pair? Think about this for a second. I think I have it. I hope you do too. You are missing an angle, but you have two angles. How can we find that third angle? 180 minus the two angle measures that were given. And we have 80 degrees. Well, look at that. We now have a pair. So I have the start of my law of sines, sine of 80 over 19. So let's see, what do you want to find first, A or C? You choose. I'm going to choose A because it comes before C. So the angle measure is 49. I'm looking for A. A will equal 19 times the sine of 49 divided by the sine of 80. So let's plug that into our calculator. And I have 14.56. Hope that's what you got too. Now let's work on finding side C. I'm going to use my side angle pair again. I don't want to use decimals, but now I'm going to use the sine of 51 over C. So C will equal 19 times the sine of 51 over the sine of 80. 19 times the sine of 51 divided by the sine of 80. And this side is 14.993. So I'm going to put 14.99. Do not put 15. I will take points off if you put 15. If it was meant to be 15, it would have been 15. If it asked you to round to a whole number, then you can go to 15. Otherwise, do not just go to a whole number because you see 0.99. Leave that the way it is then. All right, that's all I have for the law of sines. Hopefully this helps clarify some stuff. If it does not, ask questions tomorrow. We will be spending some time on this in class, and you have a lot of practice problems to do between the RSG and the worksheet that I have up on our website. Work through them, practice them, check your answers. If you have questions, please ask tomorrow.